Hello and welcome to this information video for S45 Pathways for St Mungo's Academy in 2021. As a school, everything we do is underpinned by our key values of faith, hope and love. And through those, we hope to achieve 4 key targets. Initially, first one is to increase pupils' level of attainment and achievement. So within 5th and 6th year, it's about SQA. It's about making sure we maximise our attainment at all possibilities, but also our achievements across the curriculum. We also strive to improve the quality and consistency of learning and teaching across all curricular areas. We also want to focus on making sure that all pupils are supported to have the opportunity to succeed. And this options process is a key part of that in ensuring that informed choices are made which match pathways to make sure it's the best positive destination young people can get to beyond St Mungo's. And finally, it's about empowering everyone in a school community, pupils, teachers, parents and everyone who works with us to improve outcomes for young people. And that's really about using this information today to talk about how we take forward our learning and those option choices and beyond St Mungo's. So that's the key to everything that we do. So the purpose of the options process though, which is not, this is the second and third time we're doing these options processes for our year groups here, is about maximising those outcomes, defining a pathway that matches what's going to happen beyond St Mungo's, that aspiration or that career pathway. But it's also about challenging yourself to be the best you can and ensuring you're choosing subjects and progression that actually matches things you enjoy, but also what you can really succeed in moving forward. Now in every year group, this has already happened for you guys in S2 and S3, but then it's looking at S4 and S5, those subject options become much narrower in looking at what we're doing. It really is about specialising areas of the curriculum that really match a career, but it's also there's an interest in, and it's not picking subjects for the sake of it. In S5, the options as well represent the time to maximise attainment to try and get everything you can, because it's about leaving school at the end of S6. There is 1 year left to do that. So that's why these options are critically important, that they're well informed for that next step. So looking at the pathway of progression of subjects throughout the school, we are really talking about the end here of a long journey. For some of you, it might be about college. Next year, it might be about university or apprenticeships. But it's really looking at those 5 subjects that are really going to take things forward for you. In S5-6, pupils also undertake RE, PSE and wider achievement. And wider achievement is a whole different area of learning about across the curriculum and developing a skill set. So what do the actual options entail? For some, it's preparing for higher and advanced higher subjects. For others, it's consolidating progress in subjects that are linked to your pathway, but it's also thinking about taking those forward of what also can help get you the skills you need for that job that you're thinking about further down the line. It's also a change here where it's expanding the curriculum offer that we have in St Mungo's to include college and university and potentially a foundation apprenticeship. And it is really about preparing for your life beyond St Mungo's. So in S5, what that really means, there is one core subject in S5 that you have to choose, which is English. The other 4 subjects are free choice, but they need to be informed on the subjects you're doing just now in S4. It's about trying to make that progression without just choosing random subjects across the curriculum. In S6, that's a completely open choice, where you must pick 5 subjects and have a full timetable across the curriculum. But those subjects should link to something you've done before or really link to your career pathway. And that's where in S6 options start to open up significantly, because at this stage, you may have already attained 5 hires. You may already have attained subjects that are directly linked to your pathway. So it's about thinking smartly about how you can then support that moving forward. At that stage as well, it's worth noting there are other courses that link directly to the world of work in curricular areas that haven't potentially been available because you've been focused on hires or you haven't quite got there yet. Things like early education and childcare, that course at National 5 links directly to a career pathway there, and it links to what you would be doing in college should you go down that route. Travel and tourism is not just about travelling. It's about thinking about the whole business and the industry of how that works. Health sector and lab science in the science department kind of do what they say. It's about the sciences and very practical based in what you would do. And creative industries links into career pathways in drama, in music and art. And it's really thinking about those courses as an additional course. If you had those hires in drama and music, well, that creative industries course in 6th year as an option might be something that really complements that really well if you were going to apply to university or college for next year. So there's a bit of an expansion in the courses that we have going at this point. I mentioned already there is also a college offer, and a lot of those are vocational courses with our partners of Glasgow Kelvin, City of Glasgow and Clyde College. Pupils would attend those every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, but that really allows you to experience what life is like on the college campus and get ready for that transition beyond our school. So it's useful to do, but it's not something that will have a knock-on effect on your overall curriculum within the school, because there will be times you're out of school where one of your other subjects is still running within the timetable and you will need to catch up in that work. So it's thinking smartly that is the right thing for you, not just because you want to attend college on a Tuesday and Thursday afternoon. But for example, there's options there. If you wanted to go into nursing, then there's a nursing course offered at Cardonal College. That would be perfect in terms of learning, preparing for that official course at university potentially the following year. So the college offer is there and will be part, if that's what you're interested in, of your options interview with your pastoral care teacher or your Link deputy. In addition, some young people in 5th year may want to consider doing advanced hires at the Advanced Hire Hub, which is through Glasgow Caledonian University. So that would be taking your learning to that different level, and the sciences, English, maths and social subjects are very popular every single year. But it has to be the right choice and the right pathway for you to do that, because sometimes an advanced hire shouldn't be taken just for the sake of it, because any of these options at advanced hires will have a huge impact upon what the timetable looks like next year, because most of that learning will be done on site, on campus. So independently, young people travel to the campus in the city centre, and they spend potentially a morning or an afternoon there, and also after school between 4 and 6 or 4 and 7, you spend time on site doing advanced higher learning. That's great as a transition for thinking about university and that independent learning, but it also has a knock-on impact within school. If you need to pick up that extra hire or 2 extra hires in 6th year, but you want to do an advanced hire, you need to marry that balance between not being in school, potentially for 2 days a week to do that. It's a great opportunity to do it, and you get to mix with young people from all schools across the city as we do that. Foundation apprenticeships you may have seen on TV and are from Skills Development Scotland. They provide new work-based approaches, which really complements what happens within the school, but also within a college setting. So a bit more information is that it's linked to growth sectors of the Scottish economy, so young people are getting industry experience. So it means you spend a bit of time with an employer, which also helps you to start to gain that bit of knowledge of what it's like just to work in an office or on a building site, for example. It's also at higher level 6, so therefore anyone who wants to do this must be studying higher subjects in 6th year, or you don't meet the minimum criteria to join. Now, some of the areas are really exciting in business, civil engineering, engineering itself, social services, children, young people. There's loads of variety of things you can pick. And that's great, but it needs to match your pathway of what you want to do beyond school. There are 2 options for this. First one is a 2-year course split between S5 and S6. In S5, you would spend a Tuesday and a Thursday afternoon at college, learning and getting ready for the 6th year, which is much more intense, where you spend 2 full days for most courses out of school and 3 days a week for engineering. But you need to consider the impact that will have on your school timetable in 5th and 6th year, particularly in S6 when you're not here. For some young people in S5 at this point, you can choose a foundation apprenticeship for S6 in a 1-year only course. But that does mean next year your timetable would consist of 2 full days out of school and 3 days in school, which means there will be a significant impact on missing work for all of the other subjects. The advice there would really be, if you wanted to do it as an S6 option, that young person needs to be in a position where this year they have already gained a good 3, 4 or 5 hires before they consider spending potentially 2 or 3 full days not in school. Because how do you make up for that lost time? It's a really exciting opportunity to work with an employer, and the young people who have done this would speak very highly of the experience. but it needs to be the right pathway and the right fit given your courses. So it's something to consider, but it's a great way to learn how to work on a website, on a building site, while at college and at school, but it has to be right for you so you don't shorten your options by doing that. So how's this process going to work? Already through PSE, our DYW team have been delivering inserts in terms of what careers and options and pathways will look like, along with their SDS colleagues. So you've had that already. My World of Work, though, is a key bit that you have already filled in along the years that you've done options about your skills, your aspirations, your career pathway. You need to revisit that before your options interview. You need to sit down and redo your profile and make sure it matches what you currently think about what you want to do, because that changes, as we know, year on year. Once you're ready to do all of that, you then have your one-to-one interview with your pastoral care teacher or your link deputy. And the key bit of that is you have to come prepared with knowing what you want to do, your aspirations for the future, but you'll be asked specific questions. When do you want to leave? Where do you want to go? Apprenticeship, university, college, employment? And finally, you'll be asked what career that you want to do, because that informs the person helping you with your options. So you need to make sure you come prepared. Otherwise, there is literally no point in doing it. You have to make sure you know what you want to do. Once that's complete, the options will be sent home. And because we're online, that's potentially going to be a phone call from pastoral care or an email to say these are the options that your young person has chosen. And then once that's confirmed, that's where the timetable and the excitement begins of what's coming for next year. So what support is in place? We've developed our own website, which is purely about pathways, and we encourage you to go and look at that. The link for that is in all of the year group teams, where you can click on it and go and have a look at all of the things that are there that link to pathways, the subjects we offer as a school, what that's all about, some information from parents as well about what the subject entails, so you make an informed choice about a subject. Because some of these options, potentially for politics or classics, you may have no idea what those are, but there's information on there that tells you exactly what that subject is about. So you need to make sure you go and have a look at that. I've already mentioned My World of Work, so you need to go and have a look at that at your profile and update it. We do have our Developing the Young Workforce team led by Nathan McAllister within the school, and they have been input into PSE. But if you were even thinking at this stage that maybe options aren't right for me and I want to consider going to college next year, then he's the person to speak to, along with your pastoral care teacher, about where you take that option forward. So I hope all of that makes sense, that there's lots of options available, but to make this most beneficial, you have to make sure you come prepared and you've done your research before you do it. So hopefully that's helpful. If you're unsure, get in touch with your pastoral care teacher or your link deputy, and we hope to see you very soon doing your options and then starting on your new timetable in the new academic year.